In our last match, the real main event, regardless of where they put it on the card, the match with the most build for the most amount of time, the absolute most interesting thing I think happening in WWE right now, from a storyline perspective, is Becky Lynch defending her SmackDown Live Women's Championship and descending into the darkest pits of herself versus Charlotte Flair in a last woman standing match.
And honestly, I couldn't agree anymore. It is the best thing going in WWE today. Becky got cheered over Edge at SmackDown 1000. She made a comment about him hurting his neck, and the crowd cheered.
She told him to get out of her ring and to be careful not to hurt his neck on his way out. And the crowd around us, live in person, stood up and cheered that sentence over the Hall of Famer Edge.
It's insane to me.
Now, I will admit in person, and I think I turned to you and said this, I want to cheer for Charlotte, but nobody was cheering for Charlotte.
No.
The way that they built it and the way that it was written and the way that it was delivered clearly indicated I should not be cheering for Becky, but we all were.
And that's like this past week. Like, they finally doubled down on making Charlotte look like the victim and how we're supposed to be sympathetic for her because Becky only looks out for herself and stuff. But, like, Becky's maintaining her stance, and it just works. There's such an interesting dynamic between the two.
Yeah.
It's great.
And the way that she delivered everything to Edge, and then the social media post afterward where he's got his head sunken down with his hand on his forehead, and she's standing over Edge with the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, and the caption was, "I'm the man." Fantastic character work for her.
Oh, I love it.
And then this past week on SmackDown, they did this whole brawl at the Performance Center when Charlotte was giving an emotional, inspiring speech to the up-and-comers or the newcomers or however you want to word it. And Becky attacked her out of nowhere and then told her to shut her mouth or whatever she said. And then afterward on Twitter, one of the girls that was there retweeted it and was like, "Go Becky," or something like that. And Becky was like, "You shut your mouth or I'll take your arm too." I was like, oh my God. She's doing it. And I'm so excited that she's doing it because I think 2 episodes ago, it might have been the SummerSlam episode, I said to you and our listeners, they could potentially have Stone Cold Steve Austin in female form on their hands. Did I not?
You did.
And we stand on the precipice of greatness here. She's at the threshold, and all she needs to do, and she's been doing it, is just continue to kick the door down.
Yep.
She completely ignores the reaction from the fans. She doesn't revel in the fact that they're cheering for her. It doesn't matter. She's got her title, and that is the thing that she has sold her soul for, and that is what the story is.
And just like Charlotte saying, like, it doesn't matter about the title. What matters is their friendship. And how, at the end of the day, it's not going to be her winning the title. It's going to be her looking down at a fallen friend who's lost their way.
Yeah, it's just...
Which I thought was really interesting because it really isn't about the championship at this point.
No, and it's great because, like, you could make an argument that Charlotte saw her dad do something similar. Or like Edge was alluding to, that he did exactly what Becky did. He burned all the bridges with all of his friends to get what he wanted, and now he's alone. Like that, it was so emotionally charged, and she just put her chin up and just stuck her tongue out at all of it. Like, that's the coolest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
And they need to continue she needs to continue to ignore all of the cautionary tales and just keep rolling down the path of absolute madness that she's on right now. It's awesome.
And I think the stipulation's great.
I would love to see WWE put their balls on the table and let one of them bleed.
Wow. That would be awesome. It's not going to happen.
How incredible would that be with Charlotte wearing the crimson mask like her father?
Oh, man. I didn't even think about that.
Putting Becky in the figure 8 and just both of them just screaming their heads off, praying that the other one taps out.
Jesus.
Just go all the way with it. And I think that regardless of what happens before that match on this card, everyone will walk away going, holy shit, this happened.
Yep. This is like a big deal.
This would not only steal the show, it would be a point in time that everyone would reference. Because what if, to go back to the Stone Cold analogy for Becky, Charlotte put her in the figure 8 and Becky was the one bleeding and she passed out rather than tap.
Yeah, but it's the last woman standing.
Nah, I know, but I'm just saying, because you could count to 10 after that. It's fine. Because Charlotte has to use that move that adds so much drama to everything. Even though she can't tap, it incapacitates her ability to stand.
Yeah.
So if she were to pass out, she wouldn't be able to stand up.
So you think...
Use the Stone Cold Brett ending.
And then it's immediately like a moment.
Exactly. And the image will be the blood on Becky's visage that we have of Stone Cold Steve Austin with the blood in his teeth.
Yeah.
But it's Becky, and it catapults her. Because what did that do for Stone Cold Steve Austin?
That's what made him.
That's the match. That's the moment that
he stopped being just a heel.
Yeah, the 316 promo notwithstanding, that's the moment that made Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The tough son of a bitch that wouldn't tap out to Bret Hart. So you give us that with Becky and Charlotte.
So do you think that that's the way the match is going to end?
I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't even thought about that until I just started saying it. So there was absolutely no planning on that part whatsoever. It just happened in my brain, and I was like, "Oh my god, that would be amazing." No, I have Becky winning. As I check my notes, I have Becky winning.
Okay, so I have Becky as well, but I have a very interesting idea for the finish. And I think it'd be really cool if it happened. So Ric Flair is apparently advertised for the show, correct?
Sure.
So it made me think about well, maybe he'll bump for Becky or something. Maybe he'll come out and try and stop the match. And I think a really cool finish would be if somehow Becky threatened to snap Ric Flair's arm if Charlotte didn't lay down for a 10 count.
Oh man! Wow!
And so Charlotte is forced.
And Rick is in the disarmer.
Yeah.
And he's yelling, "Don't do it!
Yeah.
Don't do it!" And Charlotte's crying and she wants to attack, but Becky pulls back on it, and Rick screams out again.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You lay down, or I'll break your father's arm." Oh my god!
And Charlotte's forced to lay down for Becky and just stare, and they just stare at each other.
That's nuclear heat. That's napalm.
So I think that would be great because we've literally never seen something like that in a last man standing match.
Screw the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. That's completely new.
Yeah.
So go with that. Absolutely. 100%.
And it literally it would turn the crowd.
I would die if they did that. Holy shit, I'm blown away.
You heard it here first.
But I'm like, I could see it.
Yeah.
I'm watching it in my head play out. Becky her face is just deadpan. And Charlotte's just weeping and sweating and just, she can't do anything
and
but
Ric
watch.
Flair's crying.
Yeah. Man, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
So.
I love it.
Thought of that one.
Man.
That's the way I would book it.
Oh my God. But I don't even know that they would boo her. Honestly.
So the match ends. She does it anyway. She breaks his arm.
They still might not boo her.
But I'm thinking, because technically the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series. So if they're going to do the head-to-head champion versus champion stuff again, we would get Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch.
Oh. Well, that's something I wouldn't put them near each other. I don't think that they're going to do the show versus show thing again.
I mean, we don't know.
No, we don't. I'm just saying in general, I don't believe that that's what's going to happen. And if they do, I think it'd be a real big mistake to put Becky and Ronda together. And the reason I think that is because Ronda's the biggest draw on Raw right now.
Yeah,
and
but
Becky's
what if Becky beats her?
Well, exactly, because you don't want either of them to lose, right?
Yeah,
we
but
just went through the whole thing where we don't want Ronda to lose and we don't want Becky to lose. We don't want them near one another because one of them would have to lose.
No. Okay, so my rant was I don't want Ronda Rousey to lose to Nikki Bella. That was my thing.
But if their ultimate goal is to get Becky booed, you can't have her against Ronda.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Because the crowd would go probably 50-50 right out of the gate. But as Becky would get close to victory, they're just going to turn on Ronda, and you don't want them to turn on Ronda.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't thinking
you don't want them to turn on Ronda at all
in that way. But yeah, you're right. But that's if they
I like the idea of the two of them wrestling, and I would not mind a crossing of paths.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line. Just to sniff it a little bit. But don't put them near each other right now.
It's a very interesting time.
It is. It's a great time for wrestling in general. It's a wonderful time for women's wrestling right now. Mm-hmm. And as evidenced as such that we have this entire pay-per-view.
It's great. It's going to be awesome.
We just know that WWE in general is not able to keep several women's feuds going at the same time if they're on the same show. So that's why you have a lot of mediocre stuff front-loaded on this show, and then the last two matches are going to be absolute barn burners.
Exactly. We can't wait.
But Becky and Charlotte need to main event this show.
They won't, but
because the thing is that if they don't main event, they're not going to be second to last.
Yeah, they are.
No, they wouldn't do that because we can't even get AJ to be second to last. They're not going to put Becky and Charlotte second to last. So they would be in the middle of the show like AJ.
What if they open the show?
I would be so mad.
Everything else would be downhill after that.
Exactly. Because it would be...
this was the match that I was most looking forward to. When you had said,
no, absolutely,
this could potentially be match of the night, this is going to be match of the night.
No, this is without a doubt the match of the night before it happens.
Yeah,
without a question. They could have Kelly dive off of the scaffolding into the ring for the battle royal and knock everybody else out. And Becky and Charlotte would be the best fucking match of the show.
Just as long as you see Ric Flair strutting out there, trying to throw the towel in, trying to talk sense into them.
Oh my God. In the midst of that match.
You can picture it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I watched it happen as you said it. And now my head won't leave it alone. To me, that indicates that that's the way to go, right?
It should.
Oh man, if he makes his way out to that ring in the middle of that match, I'm gonna lose my mind.
He's booked for the show.
I know. But you don't know if that's gonna be like a backstage thing.
Yeah, but like he just they're beating the hell out of each other. They double down. They're both down. The referee's counting, but then they pull themselves up. All of a sudden, Ric Flair struts his way out. He's like, "Please, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. This isn't the right way. You're going to kill each other." And then...
Dude, I still think that they should both bleed. I still think that they should both bleed. I think that would be huge.
It would add so much more to the match.
Well, to the match, but then to the show overall.
Well, yeah, but their match specifically,
right,
and their story. It would add so much more.
I just think that it would season the entire pay-per-view in a way that nobody had anticipated prior to it happening.
Because it'll make people look at it and they'll go, "Oh, so like women's wrestling is totally different now."
Yeah, because I think that you would capture a lot of the people that are kind of poo-pooing this from the beginning.
Yes.
If you give an old school, for lack of a better term, slobber knocker. I'm super stoked for this. Way more stoked for this show now that you said that stuff than when we started the program.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Man,
I'm just saying.
I can't stop thinking about it.
I'm just saying. Just hold on to your hats.